and we should not give up in our tough situations. This is what my dad has taught me. And of course, I would never forget my teacher, Sir Vivek. So she was shocked. She was surprised. She said that I don't believe you because the way you sang, the scale, the notes, that resonance and all these things were perfect. But I've never learned music, so I still do not know anything about classic. You came with an expectation. So I cannot break this trust. My all-time favorite actress is undoubtedly Priyanka Chopra, Urvashi Rautela. She's immensely talented.
So, a very warm good morning to all of you guys. As today I'm going to introduce a person who himself does not need any introduction because thousands of people from many states know him. He is the one who has made thousands of people's career. He is the one who has done many things for his student. Never thought about his luxurious he would have gotten if he would have thought about himself. So he is the person who has started his career with just 3 students, and now he has taught more than thousands of people who work in different kind of states, in different cities as well. And even there are many students who have gone to abroad just because of him, because he has trained the students in that way. And let me tell you that he has never thought about himself. He has always kept his students his first priority, because of which many students have gotten jobs. They are able to lighten up their life just because of him. That he is the person, I can say, that the most selfless person who has always taught us that how to be selfless, how to think about others. So indeed this person does not need any kind of introduction, but still I will introduce to all of you to a great person. So please, let's divine it. It's none other than Sajid sir. So let's hear it from him. What is the hardest part of your job?
Well, what I believe is there's nothing hard because I think something that we do if we start loving that, no matter what we are doing, what job we are doing. So if you start loving that, it becomes fun. So I just enjoy my job. There's nothing hard. I just love it, what I do.
Who is your inspiration?
Well, talking about my inspiration, I can see there are a lot of people who are my inspiration. So, firstly, I'd like to say that my dad is my inspiration because he has taught me a lot of things in life, and we should not give up in our tough situations. This is what my dad has taught me. So, he was very confident, he never gave up in his life. So, I learned a lot of things from my dad, and there were many more people when I used to work at different concerns. So, there were people who I learned something or the other from. And of course, I would never forget my teacher, Sir Vivek. So he has always been my inspiration, and he will always be. He's such a nice person.
How did you get interested in music and singing?
Well, music is something that I love since my childhood because I remember the first time I got this feel that I can sing better. It was way back when I was in Punjab. I went to attend a ceremony, a marriage ceremony of my cousin, and there was a singer singing on stage. So I was very small. So I just I just learned that song then and there, and I started singing that song. And people noticed me. They came up to me. They asked me to sing it again and again. So they were all shocked that how did I learn that song instantly. So that was the first time I realized, and then the second time it happened when I was at school. So I had a friend, so he took me to a music class, and my music teacher asked me to sing. And I was so nervous, I was so scared. Somehow I had to sing because she just insisted. And I started singing, and the teacher was, playing the harmonium. And I had no idea that I'd get this comment from her. So after I stopped singing, she just asked me that if I have learned music. So I said, no, I did not know even C of classical. So she was shocked. She was surprised. She said that I don't believe you because the way you sang, the scale, the notes, that resonance and all these things were perfect. So I said, no. She was shocked. So that was, again, a time wherein I realized that, yes, I can sing better. So that gave me a lot of confidence. And then it started. And then at my college, I did some stage shows, but I've never learned music, so I still do not know anything about classical.
So, who inspires you to be passionate even today after giving 18 years of doing your life doing the same thing?
Well, something that inspires me the most in doing something that I'm doing since the last 18 years, as you said. So it is you people actually. I have to do something for you guys. You're my trainees. You're not just my trainees, you're my responsibility, you're my family, you're my friends. So if you have come here to learn communication skills, so you came with an expectation. So I cannot break this trust. You came with a trust, you came with an expectation that you should learn English in the best possible ways. So you're just a responsibility and I cannot back off. Like I have to give you all my 100%. So you people somewhere or the other, keep motivating me to do good in what I'm doing since almost 2 decades. Okay, so if you will get a chance to spend one day with your favorite heroine, who would it be and how would you like to spend your day with? Well, that's a nice question. Actually, talking about my favorite actresses, then I do have three or four. My all-time favorite actress is undoubtedly Priyanka Chopra. I like her personality, the way she, carries her personality, the way she speaks. Uh, Secondly, I would say that Zareen Khan is also my favorite, and I can also say Urvashi Rautela. She's immensely talented. I would like to spend time with these celebrities, my favorite actresses. I'd like to be with them. I'd like to, know about their journey, how they struggled, and what they did to be here, where they are right now. And I'd like to, have some food with them. I'd like to catch movies with them. So I'd like to spend good time with them if I get. Okay, so we all know that you were a really mischievous kid when you in your early days. So tell us something about your childhood, like some kind of incidents. That's again an interesting question. So indeed, my childhood was very interesting. I remember that when I used to go to catch movies with my parents to theaters, I used to bother them a lot for things I wanted to eat at. And I remember we used to play bow and arrow. So once we made bow and arrow, and it was actually thin wooden sticks. We used to sharpen them from the top and used to use that as arrows. So I remember I had one of my nephews. So he was stood on the wall, and I just aimed and just released that arrow. And I had no idea that the arrow is going to get into his nose directly. So it went into his nose directly, and it's he started bleeding profusely. And I had to run away from there because I knew that my mom's going to have me nicely. And then secondly, one more incident I can share with you. It was my cousin's husband who came from somewhere, so he was stood, and we had, we used to make like balls, like marbles. So I just aimed again, and I had no idea that it's going to hit his eye. So it hit his right eye, and the eye got this big. And again, I was just shaking in my shoes. I had to, just run away from there because I knew that if I return home, my mom's going to have me nicely. So the whole day I spent it outside my home. I came after the sunset so that I'll be excused, but I was still not forgiven. My mom had me to her satisfaction. I can't forget that. So that was really interesting. There were many more. So that was good. Next question is that is there something that you wanted to be but you couldn't? Uh, well, see, when we are kids, we have a lot of dreams. At a time, we think of a lot of things to do in our lives. So we want to be doctors, we want to be lawyers, we want to be cops at the same time. But when we grow up, when we study, so things change and we get to know about reality. So I just wanted, I mean, that way, if I say I wanted to be a lot of things, but as I grew up, I got matured enough. And then I realized that I should be nothing. And still, if you ask my about my ambition, about my aim, I would say that I'm aimless. Like I do not have any such big ambition. I just want people to respect and love me, and that's it. That's it. I do not have big dreams. Okay, so give us some tips like how should we manage our personal and professional life and also prioritize ourselves. Right. Now, this is a very nice question. See, if I talk about myself personally, then I live three lives every day. Now, when I be here at my workstation, I live my professional life. So here I cannot think about my personal life, I cannot think about my social life. I have to be here, and when I'm here I'm all hears. So I give my 100%. So this is my professional life. But why? Because I know that my family members, they depend on me for survival, and I depend on this profession. So if I do something wrong here, then this is going to affect me. And if I'm affected, then my family members are going to get nothing. So what I believe is this is something that I should prioritize first. So I cannot do anything. I cannot think about myself. I give my 100% here when I'm living my professional life. So after I'm done with the training part, my professional life is over. Then I start my personal life. In my personal life, I have I have things to look after. I have stuff to do. So I do things my way because I believe that one should never interfere in somebody's personal life. So I want a privacy wherein I would like to be with some of my favorite people, and I be with them. I spend good time with them. We have party, we have fun, and then when I go back home after these things, I start my social life wherein I have my society, I have my locality, I have my family members, I have my relatives to talk to. So these three things, I mean, these three lives I live every day. And the best thing I would suggest you to do is do not ever let these things compile. I never let these, three lives mix. I, keep them separate, and I give my 100% to all these three lives every day. I just live it, king size, and one should do that. Okay, so is it possible for a beginner to learn English in just 1 month? And if it is, then what are the things we should do? See, this is an interesting question, and I would like to answer this question, especially for the beginners who want to learn English, who all want, but they actually sometimes get demotivated, demoralized, and they give up. So I would say that yes, it is indeed 100% possible that one can learn English, a beginner can learn English in 1 month. It is possible because there's nothing called impossible. If you break the word impossible in three syllables, it says I am possible. So there's nothing impossible. And we must not forget that on earth, there are millions and billions of species, but we are the only species. There's nothing impossible for us. We are the only one. So now answering this question a little more, I would say that there are some basic things you can watch on the channel, some basic stuff like ismr, was were, do does did. So if you start with these things, I've tried to make these things very easy on the channel so that any beginners who are very weak, who are very poor students, they can easily understand the concept and they can start translating sentences. So it is easy indeed. So yes, the answer is yes, they can. Okay, so you know that you have already always said this thing that only speaking English is not something. You have to keep many things in your mind while speaking. So, what are the things we need to keep in our mind while speaking English? Well, see, answering this question, I would say that yes, it is right that speaking English, or not just English, any language, whatever language we speak in. So speaking that particular language is not everything that matters. Something that matters is what you are. I'm talking about being a good human. Because if we are not a good human, we are nothing. Because this comes first. We can do things in our life. We can achieve things. We can be successful. We can do a lot of things. But still, at the end of the day, if you're not a good human being, so is this waste? So try to be a good person first, and then a good speaker or any other thing. And the second part of the question was, how can we speak better English? So in my old videos, I've told this many times, but I would still like to repeat for you. There are a lot of things you can do. For beginners, I have a different feedback. For people who will speak English, I have a different feedback for them. So what you all can do is, beginners can watch the videos, basic videos on the channel. And as of now, they can do this. They can collect some passages and they can solve them. That will, enhance their skills, and that will filter their basics. And for you people, I would say that there are many ways to practice. You can talk to yourself. This is actually something that you can do 24 into 7. You just have to imagine that you're talking to somebody. There's create a conversation in your mind. You have to imagine that you're with somebody talking. Make that conversation. It can be 24 into 7, no matter what you where you are. You can be in a washroom. You can be on your bed. You can be anywhere. Hardly matters. All you have to do is you have to just think that you're talking to somebody. Create a conversation wherever you get stuck in any sentences. Just note it down. Google it, or you can ask me as well. And there are many other ways, like when you're at home, if your family members are watching television, if they're watching a show, so the characters who are talking on the television on the show try to translate their conversations into English. And the family members who are talking to each other, just listen to them and keep translating their conversations also in English. That is again a practice. And you can do diary writing before you sleep. You should write everything what you did for the whole day. So that is again a practice because that will enhance your writing skills too. So there are many other ways to practice. You can watch my old videos and you'll get it.
Okay, so there is a argument going on that the people who talk in Hindi or the people who talk in English, basically the people who talk in Hindi, they are saying that we should not speak in English anymore because it's not our native language. We should speak in Hindi more, as you know that in many countries they promote their own language more than English. So what's your take on it?
See, I would say that my point of view is very neutral because learning is a very nice thing. And learning is a never ending process. We must learn anything what we can. So learning a language is not that bad. I mean, we must learn, we should try to learn each and every language. It's not bad. If we speak English, it doesn't mean that, we forget Hindi. Or if any person from any country, if they speak, any other language apart from what the language they speak in their country, so there's no harm. It doesn't mean that they forget their own language. So we should respect every language and every country's people. So this is what my take is. It's okay. It's all fine. Hmm. Okay, so you know that there are many students here who come here for training, for getting jobs. And mostly in interviews, HRs ask these kinds of questions. So there are some questions which I want the answer from you. Right. So the very first one is that mostly HRs ask this question that what is your salary expectation? So how should as a fresher we should answer it? Right. That's a very nice question. It will help a lot of people who are facing interviews and who are on the verge to face interviews. So the question is, what is your salary expectation? Now, there are two ways to answer this question in an interview. So if you're a fresher, if you haven't done a job before this, if you're a fresher, if you've applied as a fresher, your answer should be different. And if you're experienced, your answer should be different. So if you're a fresher, you have two ways to answer this question. The first way is, sir, ma'am, or whoever, the person who's interviewing is, as you have my resume with you, so I believe that you are the best person to decide a salary for me because my resume reads everything about me. So that is the best way. Secondly, the answer should be as per the company's norms and terms and condition, or as per the company's norms, as per the company's protocols. This was for freshers. Now, if you're experienced enough, if you've worked in some companies before, then there you have the right to negotiate, to talk about what you want because you've worked. So if you have good experience, before you've worked with some other companies and you've good experiences, so there you can decide your salary, your way, that this is what I want. If you'll agree, or if you don't, so let's negotiate. So this is how it works. Okay, so when Sajid sir feels like giving up, or when you feel like that you are stuck in between something, then how do you overcome from these things? See, it is actually a life. So life actually shows you a lot of colors. Now, every color cannot be of our choice. Sometimes you want to see blue and life shows us red. So there we have to do something. I mean, we have to find a way out. And your question is, how do I manage? How do I overcome when I have, some problems like these, or when I get stuck? So I just know one thing that every time passes. No matter it's a good time or it's a bad time. So we must be patient. We must be calm and composed. We must be positive, and we must think that yes, this time will pass. We should not give up. I mean, we should face it. Let the problem start considering itself weaker rather than we start considering ourselves weaker. So do not do that. Keep patience, and things will definitely get fine. So I wait for the right time. I know it's tough, but we have to do it.
Okay, I want to ask you, what was the reaction of your parents when you did quit your job and started this journey?
See, that is a nice question. Actually, every parents, most of the parents, I would say that they want their kids to do a good job and be well settled in life. So I also did some jobs, and when I quitted my job, I started this journey. I want to do something on my own. So I started this institute. I started training people. So as I told you in the starting that I had three trainees in the first month when I started this profession, or rather, it's a service I can say, because I do not consider this as a profession. I consider this a service. Why? Because I'm serving you people. So when I started, I only had three, trainees. So it was quite obvious because parents are parents, not only parents but all the family members, my relatives, my friends. They started saying that it's not going to work. It's flopped. You just give up and start doing job again. So my problem is I am a positive thinker. I believe myself. I believe in the Almighty. I believe in on my hard work. So I listened to everybody, but I ignored them and I continued. And you won't believe the next month I had good number of students. I had a good volume, and now in these 18 years, I've trained thousands of people, and thousands of trainees have gotten jobs. They're well settled in different companies in MNCs, ITs, BPOs, and many of them are in different countries as well. So I would say that it was never possible if I would have listened to these people then 18 years back when they asked me not to continue with this and quit and do jobs again. So that was the best decision I can say. Because see, earning money is not everything that matters. I have opportunities wherein I can earn way more than what I earn now. But everyone thinks of themselves. But what I believe is my father has taught me that if you're doing something, if you have taken some, responsibilities, you should understand the responsibility. So what I believe is I'm just giving you guys service. I'm serving you. So this is the best thing I could, possibly do in my life. So I believe that I'm doing the right thing.